everybody, welcome to the Comic Game Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I am here to review Dexter New Blood. Yes, the sequel series to the hit show Dexter. Back in the day, like in 2000 and it ended in 2000, what was it, 12, 14, some shit like that. It wasn't that long ago, but it feels like it was a forever ago. Now, I had heard about this show back when it came out back in the day. I think it was on ShowTime. And I had heard of the show. It's on ShowTime. I had heard of the show, but, you know, in my household, we didn't have ShowTime. You know, sometimes we had ShowTime. I'm not in love with ShowTime, to be honest, you know, as one of the channels you can get, because a lot of their movies are, ShowTime tends to have a lot of artsy movies, a lot of, what's the word, independent films and whatnot. And, you know, I never really watched ShowTime that often. But I remember hearing about Dexter. Now, like I said, I didn't watch it at the time. But a couple years ago, maybe maybe 3 years ago now? I'll say 2 years ago, maybe 3. A couple years ago, regardless. It was on Netflix, and you know, I'm sitting here, I'm like, I have heard that this has one of the worst season finales, it's one of the worst final seasons of all time. Like, this show is used, I remember people using Dexter was being used as the show, like, if you want to know how to ruin a great show, watch Dexter. The show that is the epitome, that is the, you know, now, to be fair, now Game of Thrones might have taken that title from them as, you know, having a great show and ending it so terrible that it just leaves a bitter taste in your mouth. But I'm not going to review Dexter unless you guys want me to. I've seen the all 8 seasons, I believe, of Dexter, the Showtime show Dexter. So unless you guys actually want to talk about it and review it, maybe so. I've watched so many older shows. I'm currently watching The Sopranos. Never watched The Sopranos. I'm currently watching The Sopranos. I'm currently watching Boardwalk Empire. Loving it. Currently watching Deadwood. Like, I'm watching all of these older shows that I never actually got around to watching before. So, and I'm having a good time watching them. But but if you guys want to watch something, put it in the comment section. I'll be down to watch Dexter again. I'm going to just say this before I get into my review. Well, because it ties in, too. This entire sequel series is only made because the final season of Dexter, the final episode of Dexter, were so bad, it left such a bitter taste in the fans' mouth. And the crazy part about it, I went into watching the entire season of Dexter knowing that everyone has said this is one of the worst final season finales of any show of all time. Like, in terms of being great and ending so bad that you forget it was ever great, like that. And I remember hearing that. But I'm watching Dexter. I'm loving this show. It's got such a great vibe to it, and the whole him being a murderer who murders murderers, and the dark passenger, and the relationship between him and his sister, and the whole him having a hard time, and him evolving and trying to become more human because he's kind of a cold bastard. Well, not bastard, but he's just kind of a cold dude. And you know, in the stories and what's going on, and the murders, how creative they get. Him dealing with, he had this one season. He had a whole thing with another serial killer. Like, all of it worked for me. And then suddenly, about around season 6, it was starting to dip, but it wasn't terrible. I'm like, oh, this ain't bad. Then I watched season 7, this ain't bad. And then the last season was so bad. I remember in my mind going, what is happening? I had never been so upset watching a show. In my head, I was just like, can I just pretend like this last season didn't happen? Like, can I just do a do-over, put a coin in the machine, go back in time, something. I don't care what I got to get into. What car do I need to get into to go back in time and not watch that final season? But whatever. It was so bad that they had to come back and make a true ending. You know what this shit reminded me of? Honestly, it's like when the Mass Effect 3 game came out and the ending was so bad, was so unsatisfactory that they had to go and make another ending to put it in the game. This is what Dexter New Blood is. This show, it takes place it takes place in real time. It takes place almost 10 years. I say almost 10 years later. Dexter has escaped, He's in this random town in the middle of off the coast, somewhere in New York. It's like a town outside of New York. This nice little town in his small little, community. He's clearly, he's been here for quite some time. Everyone is comfortable with him. Everyone knows him. He's got a new name, new alias. He's a bit more positive. He has a girlfriend. He has a lot going on. And they do the thing that you knew they were going to do. Which is, Dexter's whole thing is, when he sees someone doing bad, when he hears about someone doing bad, he wants to fucking kill them. He wants to kill them. And I'm not going to spoil it for you because the episode did just come out last week. I don't remember what's I don't even know the day it came out, but it did come out last week. But, needless to say, he's trying his best to, they play it up. They play up the perks of the old season. They know that if you're a fan of the original Dexter, there are a lot of clues here. There are a lot of callbacks. There are a lot of things from that original series that I don't want to get into because I don't want to spoil anything for you. Particularly a character who ends up showing up somewhere in the middle of the episode and near the end of the episode that's just like, whoa, man, 8 years is fast. Time is just flying. I was just like, damn, would he be that big? Man, I don't remember him being that big. Are you sure it's 10 years or 12 years? What the fuck? Either way, I digress. There are some, they do play up, it's a slow burn. Because it's gearing up for him to kill somebody. And then you're just like, okay, he's trying to keep his cool, be normal. I'm not that guy anymore. And then some asshole. Which the show might as well, this dude shows up, the asshole shows up, and the show might as well have it is like the world. It must have felt like the world was begging him to kill this dude. And then the more information you find out about this asshole, the more you're just like, yeah, he's gonna kill this dude. And the more information you find out about it, you're like, yeah, that dude's dead. And it builds up. And the cool thing they did is, in the show Dexter, he does voiceover. He does a lot of monologuing, voice in, he's when you hear him talking, he talks and sometimes he describes his process, he describes, he describes his process, he describes what he's thinking, he describes how he's feeling, and he's just talking to, he's almost talking to the audience himself. And the voice wasn't there the entire episode. And I noticed it. And I remember thinking to myself, it feels weird watching this show without his voiceover. Without hearing his voice, describing how he's feeling, describing what he's thinking, describing, almost like the voice is the passenger. He always says that he has a dark passenger. It's this, he's always kind of there's this part of me that I can't really describe it. It's nothing but, it's almost like someone else is with me and he wants to do this, and sometimes I have to just let him take over the wheel. And it's almost like his voiceover is the dark passenger. So it was interesting that it wasn't there while he was pretending to be a normal dude. And then when the old him finally reemerged, all of a sudden, the voice came back. And I was like, I like that touch. It was a nice touch. It was cool, especially if you're a fan of the OG Dexter like I am. I watched that show. Like I said, I've been kind of going back watching older shows that I never watched before and just enjoying myself. Sad too, because there's a lot of actors in some of these shows that are past since, and I'm like, damn, I wish I would have watched this show back in the day so I could have appreciated them like I did. But Dexter is definitely now they're not retconning what happened in the final season, unfortunately. Granted, we don't know yet. Only thing we know is certain things that happened did happen the way they happened. It is curious that certain but we still don't have an explanation on certain aspects. And like I said, it's just one episode. But off one episode, this is a great start. It's already gearing up to be a very fun. Now I've seen now I'm trying to think. Because I've seen this kind of story before, the former such and such, goes to live a normal life and the old life comes back and he has to, you know, come back. But usually he's not a serial killer, but you know what I mean. You kind of seen some stories, beats like this before. So I'm waiting to see how this goes. There are certain pieces they're setting up on the board, particularly the asshole he kills and his girlfriend. There are pieces that they're setting on the board that are ripe for drama. I can't wait to see more of this. Michael, I think his name's Michael something Hall, I believe. Is it Michael something Hall? Is it Michael Scott Hall? I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I know it's Michael Hall. It's something in the middle, but I can't remember what it is. He's great. He fits right back in this like it's a glove. It's almost like nothing really changed, man. It's just like, okay, yeah, he fits right in it like, oh, whatever. But anywho, I enjoyed this. I would give the first episode of Dexter New Blood. Yeah, let's go with an 8, man. Let's go with a solid 8. 8.5. I enjoyed myself. I was, honestly, by the time the episode had come to an end, I was already trying to push the button on the next. Because, like, I got so used to it. The whole season was out, so I just binged the whole fucking season. But anyways, thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show. Please don't like, subscribe. And have you seen Dexter New Blood? Have you seen the original Dexter? If you've seen the original Dexter, then you're definitely going to enjoy this one. Anyways, thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show. Please don't like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.